My girlfriend started an argument the moment she saw the ring I had secretly bought for her. She demanded to know who it was for and why I hadn't told me earlier. When I told her the truth, she screamed at me, saying, "You're lying to me. If this was really for me, you would have told me." Then she shouted, "Get out of here." I didn't reply. I just walked away and didn't look back. I'm 29, and until 3 months ago, I thought I knew exactly where my life was headed. I'd been with Maya for 2 years, met her at a mutual friend's birthday party, hit it off immediately, moved in together after 8 months. She was smart, ambitious, working in marketing for a tech startup downtown. We had our issues like any couple, but nothing that seemed unfixable. Or so I thought. The ring cost me $4,800. I'd been saving for it for 7 months, putting aside money from every paycheck. It wasn't easy. I had to skip nights out with friends, pack lunches instead of ordering takeout, cancel my gym membership, and work out at home instead. But I wanted this to be special. I did my research, spent weeks reading about the 4 C's, talked to her best friend Sarah about what style Maya would like, even stalked her Pinterest board like some kind of detective. There were dozens of pins saved under a board called Someday, with rings that all had similar features. Vintage-inspired, rose gold band, oval center stone. I wanted it to be perfect. The plan was to propose on our anniversary trip to Big Sur in 2 weeks. I had the whole thing mapped out down to the minute. We'd drive up the coast, stop at that seafood place in Carmel she loved, then head to McWay Falls right before sunset. I'd already talked to a photographer friend who lived in Monterey about hiding nearby to capture the moment. Maya had shown me photos of McWay Falls at least a dozen times, saying it was her dream location. I thought I was being the perfect boyfriend. But I'm an idiot who can't keep secrets, apparently. The ring was delivered to our apartment on a Tuesday afternoon in late September while I was working from home. I signed for the small package around 2 p.m., my heart racing as I held it in my hands. I tucked it in my sock drawer under a pile of winter socks I never wore, then went back to my laptop to finish a presentation that was due by 5. What I didn't account for was Maya coming home early because her afternoon meeting got canceled. I was in the kitchen making my 3rd coffee of the day when I heard her call out from the bedroom. "Hey babe, why are there socks all over the floor?" My stomach dropped like I'd just stepped off a cliff. I'd been in such a rush to hide the ring that I must have pulled out half my drawer and not bothered to clean up. I set down my coffee mug and walked into the bedroom to find her standing by my dresser, holding the small velvet box in one hand, her purse still hanging off her shoulder. Her face was completely pale, mouth slightly open, eyes wide. "What is this?" she asked, her voice shaking in this way I'd never heard before. "Maya, I can explain. Who is this for?" She was already crying, tears starting to stream down her cheeks, her hands trembling around the box like it might explode. "Who the hell is this for? And why is it hidden in our bedroom? In your drawer? It's for you," I said, taking a step toward her and reaching for her hand. "Baby, it's for you. I was going to propose in Big Sur. I had this whole plan with the photographer and everything." She jerked away from me like I'd burned her, nearly stumbling backward into the dresser. "You're lying to me. If this was really for me, you would have told me. You would have said something, given me some hint, dropped some clue, but you've been acting completely normal. Like nothing special was happening. That's the entire point of a surprise proposal. Don't patronize me." She threw the box on the bed like it was contaminated. "I'm not stupid. I know what I know. You've been distant lately, working late at least 3 nights a week, being secretive with your phone, taking calls in the other room. And now there's an engagement ring hidden in your drawer that you're pretending is for me? Do you think I'm an idiot?" I felt my patience starting to crack. I'd spent 7 months planning this, scraping together money, trying to make everything absolutely perfect, and she was accusing me of cheating based on absolutely nothing but her own paranoid imagination. I've been working late because I've been taking on extra freelance projects to pay for that ring. And I've been secretive because I didn't want to ruin the surprise. I've been planning this for months. "Liar," she screamed, her voice going shrill. "You're a liar. I've felt it for weeks now. Something's been off. And now I know why. You're cheating on me, and you're trying to cover it up with this fake proposal story. Get out of here," she shouted, pointing at the bedroom door with a shaking finger. "Get out. I can't even look at you right now. Just get out." I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, waiting for her to take it back, to realize how completely insane she was being, to see the hurt on my face and understand that she was wrong. But she just kept pointing at the door, tears streaming down her face, her whole body shaking with rage or fear or whatever toxic cocktail of emotions had convinced her I was cheating. So I grabbed my wallet and keys from the nightstand, walked past her without another word, and I left. I didn't slam the door. I didn't yell back. I just walked out of our apartment and didn't look back. I stayed at my buddy Derek's place that night, sitting on his couch until midnight explaining the whole disaster while we worked through a six-pack of beer he'd been saving for the weekend. He kept saying she'd calm down, that she'd realize she was wrong once she had time to think clearly, that I should give her space for a day and then talk it through like adults. But she didn't calm down. She doubled down hard. The next morning, I woke up on Derek's couch with a stiff neck and 17 missed calls from Maya. There were about 30 texts, too. Not apologies, accusations. She'd apparently spent the entire night going through my phone records online, my social media messages, even my email accounts that she still had passwords to from when I'd let her use my laptop. She'd found nothing because there was literally nothing to find, but that only made her more convinced I was hiding something bigger. The texts were genuinely unhinged. I know you deleted messages. Who is SHE? My friend Jess saw you at lunch with someone last week. Explain that. You're a liar and a cheater, and I'm going to prove it. I'm calling your mother. That lunch she mentioned? That was with Marcus, a male coworker from my office. We'd grabbed sandwiches at the deli across the street to discuss a client presentation. But Maya was so far gone into her paranoid spiral, she couldn't see reason anymore. I tried calling her once around 10 a.m. She picked up immediately, before the first ring even finished, and started screaming before I could say hello. I hope she's worth it. I hope whoever you're cheating on me with knows what kind of person you really are. I hope she knows you're a liar. I hung up without responding. I didn't have the energy to defend myself against accusations that had no basis in reality. I went to the apartment the next day when I knew she'd be at work. She had a standing Wednesday meeting that ran from 9 to 11. I packed up my essentials, clothes, laptop, toiletries, important documents. The ring was still sitting on the bed where she'd thrown it. I picked it up, carried it to the kitchen, and left it on the counter with a note written on the back of a receipt. This was always meant for you. I'm sorry you couldn't trust me. I crashed with Derek for a week and a half, sleeping on his couch and contributing to groceries. Then I found a decent one-bedroom apartment across town, about 30 minutes from my office. My lease with Maya wasn't up for another 4 months, so I kept paying my half of the rent even though I wasn't living there anymore. It seemed easier than fighting about it or dealing with potential legal issues. Maya sent a few more accusatory messages over the next 2 weeks, then went completely silent. Her friends blocked me on social media. Our mutual friends started acting weird, choosing sides, avoiding group hangouts where we might both show up. It was like our entire 2-year relationship had been erased from existence. Here's the thing nobody tells you about breakups that end badly. You don't just lose your partner. You lose your whole life. Our friend group split down the middle. I stopped going to our favorite Thai restaurant because we'd had date night there every Friday. I had to find a new coffee shop because our regular barista would ask where Maya was. I joined a different gym because hers was 2 blocks from our old apartment and I couldn't risk running into her during a workout. But I also felt this weird, unexpected sense of relief washing over me. The relationship hadn't been as healthy as I'd convinced myself it was. Maya had always been suspicious, always needed to know where I was and who I was with, would get upset if I didn't text back within 20 minutes. I'd written it off as her being invested in our relationship, but looking back with clearer eyes, it was control. It was jealousy. It was toxic. The ring incident was just the final explosion of something that had been building for months, maybe even the entire relationship. Update 1. 2 months after the breakup, I met Rachel. We matched on a dating app. I'd finally downloaded it after Derek practically forced me to move on. We grabbed coffee at a place near her neighborhood, and immediately clicked in this easy, natural way. She was a high school English teacher, funny and grounded in a way that felt refreshing after the chaos with Maya. When I told a joke, she laughed. When I asked about her day, she answered without suspicion about why I was asking. We took things slow, really slow. I was honest with her on our 3rd date about what had happened with Maya, and she was patient while I worked through my trust issues and hesitation about getting serious again. She never pushed, never demanded access to my phone, never questioned where I was. It was like breathing fresh air after being underwater. By month 3, I knew. Rachel was it. She was the person I actually wanted to marry, not out of obligation or timeline pressure or because we'd been together for a certain number of years, but because being with her felt easy in all the ways it should. So I did what any reasonable person would do. I bought another ring. A different one this time, from a different jeweler. One that Rachel and I had actually looked at together during a casual trip to the mall when she'd pointed out styles she liked while we were walking past a jewelry store. I proposed at her parents' house during Thanksgiving dinner, with her whole family there around the table. She said yes before I even finished asking the question. We decided on a short engagement. Why wait when you know? And set the date for late January at a small venue near the lake. I posted the announcement on social media on a Wednesday morning in early December. Just a simple photo of us with the ring, caption, she said yes. Getting married in January. Happiest I've ever been. Within an hour, my phone started blowing up. Messages from old friends congratulating me, comments from coworkers, a few messages from Maya's friends that seemed more curious than celebratory, probably fishing for information to report back to her. And then, around noon while I was in a meeting, 5 calls from an unknown number. I didn't answer during the meeting. It called again the moment I got back to my desk. And again, on the 4th attempt, I picked up, annoyed. Hello. Heavy breathing on the other end. Then Maya's voice, cracking and raw. Is it true? I should have hung up immediately. Maya, is it true? Are you really engaged? To someone else? Yeah, I am. She let out this sound, like a wounded animal, somewhere between a sob and a gasp. How could you? We just broke up. It's only been 3 months. We broke up 3 months ago. You threw me out and accused me of cheating when I was literally trying to propose to you. You're doing this to hurt me. She sobbed loudly into the phone. You're marrying someone else just to get back at me, to punish me for making a mistake. I'm marrying someone else because I'm in love with someone else. This has absolutely nothing to do with you. I want to talk to you. Please. I need to see you in person. This isn't something we can do over the phone. No. There's nothing to talk about. Please. I have something. I need to show you something. It's important. It'll change everything. Maya, we're done. There's nothing you could show me that would change that fact. She hung up abruptly. I blocked the number immediately and went back to wedding planning with Rachel that evening. Update 2. She showed up at my office the following Monday morning around 10. I work at a consulting firm downtown, 13th floor, and our receptionist Diane called my desk to tell me I had a visitor in the lobby. When I walked out through the glass doors, there was Maya, mascara streaked down her face in dark lines, eyes red and swollen, holding something small in her closed hands. You need to leave, I said immediately, keeping my voice low because several coworkers were nearby. Please, she whispered, her voice hoarse. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking for. 5 minutes of your time. Diane, the receptionist, looked extremely uncomfortable, shifting in her chair. A few coworkers walking by were definitely staring. I didn't want to cause a scene in my workplace, so against my better judgment, I led Maya to one of the small conference rooms down the hall and shut the door firmly behind us. What do you want? She held out her hand slowly, opening her palm. And it was the ring. My original ring. The one I'd left on the kitchen counter 3 months ago. The rose gold caught the fluorescent office lighting. I kept it, she said quietly. I couldn't throw it away. I kept thinking you'd come back, that we'd figure everything out, work through it, and I'd get to wear it someday. Maya, I was wrong, she cried out, her voice breaking. I was so wrong about everything. I went through all your stuff after you left. I checked everything twice, talked to everyone we know, followed up on every suspicion, and there was no one. There was never anyone. You were telling the truth the whole time. You really were going to propose to me. Yeah, I was. I spent 7 months planning it. So why didn't you fight for me? She looked at me with desperate eyes. Why didn't you come back and make me understand? Why didn't you prove I was wrong? I stared at her, genuinely baffled by the question. You threw me out of our home. You called me a liar and a cheater for days. You wanted proof of something that didn't exist. What exactly was I supposed to do? You were supposed to prove it. You were supposed to show me I was wrong. Fight for us, not just give up and leave. I shouldn't have to prove I'm not cheating when I'm not cheating, Maya. That's not how healthy relationships work. You either trust someone or you don't. There's no middle ground. She was full-on sobbing now, clutching the ring box in both hands like it was a lifeline. I trust you now. I know I messed up badly, but we can fix this. We can go to couples therapy, work through my issues, start over. You can call off this wedding. Absolutely not. She's not right for you. Maya's voice went shrill again. You don't love her the way you loved me. You can't possibly. You've only known her for 3 months. You're right, I said calmly, and watched her face light up with sudden hope. I love her more. I love her in a way that's healthy and stable and doesn't make me feel like I'm constantly walking on eggshells, waiting for the next accusation. Her expression crumbled like a demolished building. You're just scared. You're settling for someone safe and boring because I hurt you and you're afraid to take a real risk again. I'm marrying someone who trusts me. Someone who doesn't need to monitor my every move or check my phone. Someone who believes me when I tell her the truth. Someone who doesn't create problems out of thin air. I can change. I've been going to therapy twice a week, working on my jealousy issues, reading books about trust. That's great. Genuinely, I mean that. I hope therapy helps you become a better person and a better partner for someone else someday. But it doesn't change what happened between us. And it doesn't change the fact that I'm happy now. Happier than I ever was with you. If I'm being completely honest. She stood there, shaking, still holding that stupid ring box in her trembling hands. So that's it. 2 years mean nothing to you? They're just gone, erased, like they never happened. 2 years meant everything to me. Right up until the moment you decided I was a liar based on nothing but your own paranoia. Now they're just a lesson in what I don't want in a marriage. She threw the ring box at me hard. It hit my chest and clattered to the floor, the box springing open and the ring rolling under the conference table. I hate you, she spat, her face twisted with rage. I hope she breaks your heart the way you broke mine. I hope you feel this pain someday. I didn't break your heart, Maya. You did that all on your own when you chose paranoia over trust. She left without another word, yanking the conference room door open so hard it bounced off the wall. I stood there for a moment, then got down on my hands and knees to retrieve the ring from under the table. I picked up the box, closed it, and tossed it in the trash can on my way back to my desk. Final update. The wedding happened on schedule in late January. Rachel looked absolutely incredible walking down the aisle in her simple white dress. Her vows made me cry, which I'm not ashamed to admit in front of 80 people. My best man Derek gave a speech about how he'd never seen me happier or more relaxed, which was completely true. Maya didn't show up or try to contact me again. Thank God. I heard through mutual friends that she moved back to her hometown in Ohio about 2 weeks after the office confrontation. Apparently the therapy wasn't going great, and she needed space from the city and all the memories. Last I heard through the grapevine, she'd quit her tech startup job and was working remotely for some marketing company in Austin while living with her parents. I genuinely hope she gets the help she needs. I don't feel bad for her. Maybe that makes me cold or heartless, but I don't. She made her choices, and those choices had real consequences. I gave her a ring, a proposal plan, 7 months of saving, and 2 years of my life. She gave me accusations, mistrust, and paranoia. We're even as far as I'm concerned. Rachel and I are coming up on our first anniversary next month. We're talking about buying a house in the suburbs, maybe starting a family in a few years. Normal stuff. Boring stuff. The kind of stuff that makes you realize how absolutely exhausting drama and chaos really are when you finally escape them. Sometimes I think about that ring still sitting in a trash can at my old office, assuming the cleaning crew didn't fish it out and pawn it for cash. $4,800 in a dumpster. But honestly, best money I ever wasted. It taught me exactly what I didn't want in a marriage, and led me straight to what I did want. Edit 1. A few people have asked if I ever got my half of the rent back from those last 4 months. No. I considered it the cost of getting out cleanly and moving on with my life. Maya never reached out about it, and I never asked. Sometimes peace costs money. Edit 2. Yes, I kept paying my half even after I moved out. The lease was in both our names legally, and I didn't want her taking me to small claims court or trashing my credit score. Sometimes the easiest exit costs money, and it was worth every penny. Edit 3. Someone DM'd me asking if Rachel knows about this whole story with Maya. She does. I told her everything on our third date over Italian food. She said Maya sounded exhausting, and then we ordered dessert and talked about our favorite books. That's when I knew she was the one.